Hi there, this is the Heir of Carthage bringing you another Rome Total War online commentary battle. This time I'm playing as my beloved Carthaginians again. And as you can see, I'm facing off against the armies of Macedon. In my front line I have 5 Sacred Band Spearmen. This is a typical army of mine, flanked by 2 units of pointy infantry and then 4 units of Sacred Band cavalry. I also have 4 units of slingers up front. This was also a max 4 missile units game. As you may have seen in my recent rants, I'm kind of tired of missile-heavy armies. So, my opponent is War King 95, and as you can see on his front line, he has 6 units of King's Royal Pikemen, and he has 4 units of Cretan archers behind them, and then he has 4 units of Macedonian cavalry. One of them is not upgraded, and the others, I believe, are gold. Now, my opponent has superior missile troops. Even though they're not upgraded, I would assume, I guess I could be wrong, but I would assume his Cretans are still better than my slingers by range and by attack. Cretans are very good missile units, but I'm going to show you how proper usage of your missile units can overcome a superior enemy. As you can see, I only have regular slingers, I don't even have Balearic slingers. And for those of you who don't believe that mass missile fire works, you're going to see it working in this battle. Already I'm cutting down his archers severely. This unit has 28, this unit's down to 35, this unit here has 54, and this far unit's 46. Now yes, I'm taking casualties, my men are getting depleted, but because he's not massing his archer fire, I'm going to be able to completely tie, or basically in this case beat his Cretans. If he doesn't have enough archers left after the missile duel to make an effect on the battle, then essentially I have won the missile duel as Carthage, since I don't have archers. And keep in mind that not only am I going to basically win this missile duel, but he has his phalanx in line to protect his archers too, so a lot of my rocks are hitting his phalanx line and I'm still causing massive damage. Anyway, I'm going to have to cut out the remainder of this archer duel because it's rather long. So I want you to see this. With just 4 units of regular slingers, I have completely decimated his Cretan archers, and you notice that I have more slingers left than he does archers. However, 1 unit of my slingers is scared of these royal pikemen that are here, and they're going to rout in a moment. But in any case, that will prove to you that mass missile fire is effective. So right there with my slingers, I destroyed a much more expensive missile force. Slingers are very cheap. I think even with gold upgrades, they're only like 300 denarii, maybe a little more. So, in any case, the point of this video that I want you to gather is the Prince of Macedon has many times discussed micromanagement, and I'm also going to discuss it here to let you know how important it is to micromanage your forces properly. Now, my opponent's royal pikemen, let me show you, are very upgraded. You can see that they have gold upgrades. And they're stacked in a fairly defensive line. They have at least, looks like 5 ranks of men, so they're not going to be easily pushed back by my Sacred Band, even though the Sacred Band are very good troops. A lot of people say and think that Sacred Band can easily own Royal Pikemen, but as I have found in my battles, that is not the case. So, anyway, my men are still standing still because we're continuing the missile duel. Like I said, there's that unit of slingers that's going to rout, because their numbers are depleted and they're too close to those pikemen. Once again, look at his archers. That was Cretan archers versus regular slingers. And they were in loose formation. At least, yeah, it looked like they were in loose formation. My men were not in loose formation. And they had phalanx line protection to some degree. So, I'm going to go ahead and get to, or the infantry fight's beginning, never mind, I don't need to fast forward. Now watch, rather than go straight into his battle line and risk being defeated, I'm going to use micromanagement here to outmaneuver my opponent. Now a lot of people think that phalanxes have to be very rigid, but if you can micromanage well enough, you can actually have a very maneuverable phalanx in this game. So as you can see, I quickly change my battle line in an attempt to throw my opponent off. So I bring up my poini to make a kind of circle here. We're going to have a battle line with a little hook on the end, and I'm going to bring my cavalry up to protect the right flank. He brings in 1 unit of pikemen. I'm about to shift my line again, but I have to turn and face him because he's caught me with his unit of pikemen. So I get a little bit sloppy here for just a second, but then I quickly redevise my plan. Rather than redeploying the line, I engage these pikemen, and he has his pikemen coming up in a column, which was not a smart move. And see, this is why you shift your lines, because it makes your opponent make a mistake. And now you can see his pikemen are caught in a vice. They're surrounded on 3 sides, and they're going to be ground up by my Sacred Band. So in a face-forward fight, his pikemen might have beaten mine, but now they are in severe trouble. He brings up this unit of pikemen here to try and keep my flanking unit from creating damage, but since this is a flanking unit, I can just simply turn and face him, which I believe I do here in a moment. So as you can see, one of his unit of pikemen has already routed. My pointy, he was going to face off with my pointy right here with his royal pikemen, but you should know that pointy would get owned by royal pikemen, so I simply bypassed them. Once again, use mobility and use micromanagement to defeat your opponents. You don't have to go face to face with them. Sometimes you shouldn't go face to face with them. So as you can see, just by my superior maneuvering here, I've gotten the jump on my opponent in almost every sector of the battle. And once again, I've done it by surrounding his Macedonian cavalry, or at least the majority of them. Now, companion cavalry are a good match for Sacred Band, but Macedonian cavalry, I don't believe, can hold their own against the Sacred Band. So I'm going to win this cavalry fight. In any case, you can see that my infantry is tearing his up pretty good. His men are making a brave stand, but as I've said, they've been completely outmaneuvered. And so it's only a matter of time before they lose. Now see, like I said, these pointy here are getting beat up pretty bad by these royal pikemen, because pointy are just not near as good as royal pikemen. But because his troops lose this fight, I now have Sacred Band to take on his royal pikes. Here again, his pikes are about to get sandwiched, and so he makes a last-ditch effort to keep me from doing so, but he's only delaying the inevitable at this point because he's been outflanked. So, what can I stress to you? Don't always have to face your opponent's battle line head-on.
By the gods,
There, the enemy general dies.
Was a fool.
If your opponent has equal or superior battle line, you should maneuver around it. Sorry, I had to stop the video there for a moment, so I don't know where I was at, but let me pick up where I think I was at. Like I said, if your opponent has an equal or superior battle line, do not face them head-on. Let me repeat that again. You don't have to face them head-on, unless they forced you to. But if you will use micromanagement as I did, you can see that not only did I win, but I won by quite a large margin. I still have most of my infantry, and I still have a lot of cavalry left. The only thing that really died in this battle was my slingers, and considering how many Cretan archers they took down, I think they earned their pay. So, look at this here. You can see the huge piles of royal pikemen, who are great units, but when outflanked, just like any unit, they get torn to shreds. So, micromanagement is key. It is absolutely key to winning a battle, because I really don't think that my battle line could have held against his in a head-on fight, unless I were to get my cavalry around the flanks and to bring in hammer and anvil strikes. But sometimes you lose the cavalry fight, and so rather than worry about having to win the cavalry fight, I just maneuvered my way into winning the infantry fight. Check out these pointy infantry. I love the way these guys look. I love those shields and everything. It's awesome. In any case, so,
victory is yours, and no one can argue that it is not both well-deserved and worthy.
Now let me say, I know I'm not the best player in this game, but as I demonstrated here, if you just use a little bit of commandership and a little bit of creative thinking, you can come up with strategies that'll help you defeat armies. Anyway, that was a good game by War King 95. He played a good battle, and as you can see, I had 1153 kills, and War King had 610. Good game to War King.